English step by step, present perfect simple, step 2. Remember, if you'd like to see more videos like this, click like. If you'd like to see other videos like this one, click subscribe. If you'd like to request a lesson for a future video, please leave a comment in the comments section below. In the step 1 video, we looked at the use and meaning of the present perfect simple tense. In this video, we'll look more at the form and the structure of the present perfect simple. Now, to use present perfect simple, we need the following. We need the auxiliary verb, or we can call it the helping verb, have. And then we need to use the past participle of the main verb. Let's start by looking at auxiliary verbs. Now, we often use contractions in spoken English when we use the auxiliary verb, and also in informal written English we use contractions. For example, here, I have become rich, you can make it a contraction, I've become rich. Next example, you have flown becomes you've flown to London. He has broken his leg, contraction, he's broken his leg. She has brought a message, she's brought a message. It has cost a lot of money, it's cost a lot of money. We have chosen this one, we've chosen this one. They have given me the news, they've given me the news. Now, here in the last example, I've put Susan has slept for 9 hours. Now, sometimes it's possible in spoken English to make the contraction with a name, like Susan. Susan has can become Susan's. Now, this is not very common in writing, except when you're writing like you're speaking. For example, with a contraction with Susan's. Now, you can see in all of these examples, I've used irregular past participles. First one, become, flown, broken, brought, cost, chosen, given, slept. So try to become familiar with these irregular past participle forms just through reading as much as possible and listening to English as much as possible. So let's continue looking at the auxiliary verb structure, and in this case we'll look at the negatives, examples of negative sentences. For example, I have not drunk a lot. Now, the contraction can be made in two ways. You could say I haven't, in which case the contraction is have not, changing to haven't, or you could say I've not, in which case the I have changes to I've not. And we can make the similar contractions with the other forms. For example, you have not found the answer, you haven't found the answer, or you've not found the answer. He has not dug a hole. You could make the contraction with hasn't. He hasn't dug a hole, or he's not dug a hole. Again, she has not drawn a picture. She hasn't drawn a picture. She's not drawn a picture. It has not shrunk. It hasn't shrunk. It's not shrunk. We have not sung this song. We haven't sung this song. We've not sung this song. Again, they have not lit the candles. They haven't lit the candles. They've not lit the candles. And you can see in all of these examples, again, I've used irregular past participle forms just so that you can see more examples. Drunk, found, dug, drawn, shrunk, sung, and lit. So let's continue this look at the auxiliary verb by thinking about questions. Well, again, with questions, I have changes to have I. So we're using the inversion form of questions again. I have eaten. Have I eaten? You have drunk too much. Have you drunk too much? He has fought in a war. Has he fought in a war? She has taught English. Has she taught English? It has taken a long time. Has it taken a long time? We have thought about it. Have we thought about it? They have woken up. Have they woken up? So again, I've used irregular past participle forms here too. Eaten, drunk, fought, taught, taken, thought, woken. So while we're looking at questions, we can also look at questions with question words. In this case, what, where, who. And again, we use inversion. For example, I have eaten it. Question, what have you eaten? I have been there. Question, where have you been? I have met them. Question, who have you met? So we've looked at the forms of the auxiliary verb, so now let's look at past participles. Now, many past participles have the same form as the past tense form. In other words, you just add ed to the infinitive of the verb. Examples: start, the film has started. Live, we have lived here for many years. Work, he has worked here since January. Invite, they haven't invited me to the party. Love, have they always loved each other? Watch, we have watched this film many times. Now, in these cases, we have different pronunciations for the ed at the end of the word. For example, lived, worked, invited, loved, watched. And if you want to check your understanding of the pronunciation of these ed endings, please watch the Step 1 video of the Past Simple series, Past Simple Tense. And in this video, you can check your understanding of the pronunciation of the ed form at the end. So those are the regular past participles. Now let's look at the irregular past participles. So many past participles are irregular. You can go back and look again at all the examples in parts 5, 6 and 7 of this video. These irregular past participles don't end in ed. They have irregular past tense forms and irregular past participles. Now, it's easy to find lists of these irregular past participles in books and websites, but to remember them, the best thing is just read and listen to English as much as possible, so that you hear lots of examples and lots of contexts. Sometimes you can see patterns, examples of irregular past participle patterns. Now, these are the same as looking for the irregular past participle patterns in the past tenses. For example, in this case, infinitive, begin, the past simple is began, and then the past participle is begun. I have begun working. Now there are other verbs which follow the same pattern. Ring, rang, he has rung the bell. Sing, sang, she has sung the song. Run, ran, we have run a marathon. So you can see the pattern there in the vowel. The next pattern we can look at is like buy, bought, and then the past participle is the same as the past tense. Bought, as in they have bought a new car. And it's the same for the next three examples, although there is a spelling change with catch and teach. Bought, bring, brought, she's brought good news. Catch, caught, they've caught a taxi. Teach, taught, she's taught the method. So let's look at some more patterns. Here we have grow, past tense grew, and then the past participle grown. I've grown the vegetables. Know, knew, he's known her for ages. Draw, drew, they've drawn the picture. So there, grown, known, drawn, adding N at the end. Now the next pattern is like steal, past tense stole, He's just stolen the money, adding en at the end. Wake, woke. She's already woken up. Where, wore. Have you worn your new shoes yet? Write, wrote. They haven't written the essays. In this case, there is a vowel change, but the ending is also en. Break, broke. He's broken the record. Freeze, froze. Has the water frozen? And there are more patterns here in these lists. Feel, felt. He's felt the stress. Burn, burnt. Have you burnt the toast? Learn, learnt. They haven't learnt the lesson. And as with the past simple form, you can use ed at the end or just t. Mean, meant. The song has meant a lot to me. The next pattern is with the vowel change here. Find, found. A solution hasn't been found. Bind, bound. The book has been bound. Grind, ground. The pepper has been ground. Now, as with the past simple forms, there are some verbs which don't follow patterns at all, but they are irregular. For example, go, went, they have gone to Paris. Be, and then was or were, they have been to Paris. Do, did, he's done his homework. See, saw, we've seen the sights. Make, made, I've made a cake. Say, said, she said something interesting. Give, gave, we haven't given him a tip. And the last one, tell, told, you've told the truth. So try to remember these very common, irregular past participles. So that brings us to the end of step 2, and that brings us to the end of our look at the forms and the structure of the present perfect simple tense. So now move on to the step 3 video, where you'll find some practice exercises.